You're listening to The Bird Bath. Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it with our first, I'm going to say, real episode back in 2025. So I'm pretty excited about this one. I think it's going to be a lot of great things, and there's a lot of incredible stuff coming up throughout the rest of the month of January as we get into the busy conference season. But let's kick it off with ABSI and Invetx partnering on generative AI in health. The Washington-based company ABSI, which does AI drug creation, and Invetx, which is a company that was acquired last year by Dechra, they develop protein-based therapies for animal health. They've announced that they're doing a partnership to utilize ABSI's AI drug creation models to create half-life extension platform for animal health applications. Under the terms of the agreement, ABSI will utilize their AI models to design novel modular antibody sequences that confer half-life extensions in specific animal species. Invetx, which, as I said, is owned by Dechra, will have rights to use the half-life extension platform in multiple products to enhance the duration of the therapeutic effects and customer convenience, increasing the significant and very important differentiators for them in the animal health market. This is a cool way to see generative AI being utilized to increase and expedite the speed at which new medical breakthroughs and changes can happen. So ABSI, which is a very large company, is seeing this as a way not only to grow their platform of what they're doing outside of the human healthcare space, but actually find a way, as a lot of AI models do, to feed more data into these machines to be able to allow them to create faster, more complex, more intelligent systems. So going to be something very cool to see. I'm looking forward to hearing about the first protein-based therapy that has an increased half-life based on some AI drug creation models. If you're looking to extend a different kind of life, you're going to be excited by the researchers at Texas A&M College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. They've received $7 million from the National Institute of Health to expand clinical trials of rapamycin's ability to extend the lives of companion dogs as part of the Dog Aging Project. We've talked about the Dog Aging Project previously on the show. It's something that I believe over 50,000 dogs that have been submitted and are part of the different studies that are being done across the different university systems and medical systems. And previously, though, the Dog Aging Project studies have shown that in small doses, rapamycin appears to improve cardiac function in dogs. In a statement by the team at the Dog Aging Project, Dr. Katie Creevy said, rapamycin works by modifying the cell's energy balance and energy handling. It seems to mimic the effects that happen in people or animal who do intermittent fasting. There's a lot of interest in intermittent fasting as a technique that can improve health, particularly healthy aging, and some of the pharmaceutical effects of rapamycin make the same changes at the cellular level. The study is looking to increase the number of participants. They are open to getting more people enrolled, or more dogs enrolled, obviously. And if you want to consider, your dog needs to be over 7 years old, in good health, and weigh at least 44 pounds. Owners have to bring their dog to one of the participating clinical sites every 6 months for 3 years after an initial visit to record baseline health information. I'm going to make sure I link a list of all of these locations that these different clinics are participating in it. So if you want to get your dog to participate in some of the rapamycin studies to be able to increase or potentially increase their life expectancy, that is definitely a cool thing to check out there. Now, it's fun and it's interesting to see, and if you're wondering why the National Institute of Health is participating in this, these same studies and a lot of the things that studies have shown for rapamycin and the thesis that they're testing here is that a lot of the anti-aging things that happen for canines would be able to be applied to humans as well. So along with Texas A&M College of Veterinary Medicine, the University of Washington is participating as well in these studies, and they're hoping to see some real changes and some real ways to be able to improve not just our canine friends' lives, but our lives as well. Mars Veterinary Health made a interesting investment for me. I guess I have a different level of interest than a lot of people, but Mars Veterinary Health has bought a minority stake in Crown Vet, which is a veterinary service chain in India. The financials weren't disclosed, but this is just one step in Mars's plan to invest $1 billion over the next 3 years, with 30% of that going to funds dedicated to generative AI, data management, e-commerce, and other cutting-edge technologies. So there's another story that's out there right now about Mars increasing their food production plants in France. And now we're seeing this investment of a Indian company, and kind of a cool one when you look at the figures here. So Crown Vet was founded in 2016. They've got 8 veterinary centers in India, mostly in the major cities like Delhi and Mumbai. And there's tons of room, though, for growth in the veterinary space in India. It has been heavily growing, and it's got the largest population in the world of 1.42 billion people. Some studies that were out there around Indian pet population reported that in 2018, there were 22 million pets reported in India, and that's grown to 38.5 million in 2023, which is the most recent data I could find there. It's pretty massive opportunity here. If you think about the population of the US being less than a quarter the size of what India has, there's not an unreasonable expectation to be able to see that the Indian pet population could grow into the 50, 60, 80, 100 million numbers very quickly. And an investment in an earlier company like Crown Vet could be a pretty lucrative way for Mars to be able to continue their footprint of veterinary practices that they have all over the globe. Again, taking us globally, there was a story that kind of tied into some things that I've been looking into a lot here in the US. And there was a new ruling in Spain that makes pet care tax deductible in some of the different regions of Spain. The laws in Spain changed back in January of 2022, but there was a new ruling that updated this that allowed people to be able to find different tax opportunities here. But in 2022, dogs and other pets were no longer legally considered as objects or possessions, but rather as members of the family with the capacity to experience feelings and emotion. So they applied that same change in the law from 2022 and actually had a new ruling passed that allows that if something is not an object, it can also have beneficial tax benefits as well, much like a dependent would. Some of the people that spoke on this said that not only is this beneficial for people that own pets to be able to offset some of the costs, but it also encourages overall better care for the animals, which reduces a lot of zoonotic diseases. It reduces stray animals. It reduces a lot of things that can come from overall poor care in populations that do have a large number of pets. So in communities that allow owners to deduct their pet care expenses, they do have to meet requirements, though, which I think is kind of neat. They have to include registering the pet, having documents up to date, vaccine records, and records of checkup and treatment. So it's not just something that people are saying, oh, I spent this much, and they get to write off a portion of it. It's actually following through with some teeth to actually make sure that this tax deductible benefit for people with pet ownership is still going towards better care for the animals. The reason why I found this so interesting is kind of twofold. One is when you start talking about animals as no longer be considered objects or possessions, you start getting the hairs on the back of the pet health insurance companies' necks to stand up and really create kind of an unusual segmentation here in the US that we don't have, where pets are still objects and possessions. And once you begin giving them the additional familial benefits as a dependent or as a sentient being, which they are, obviously, you begin to enter into a lot of other things that really flip the pet health insurance marketplace on its head. So that one was just very interesting to me. And also there's a bill that's in the U.S. Congress right now called the PAW Act of 2024, which would allow up to $1,000 of FSA and HSA dollars to be used towards pet care. So I thought that was kind of an interesting way as well to look at this. So it seems as if people understand that there is a rising cost of pet care and that through new tax laws and regulations, we can find ways for people to be able to improve the quality of care while reducing their financial burden. Finally, if you are a newer company in the animal health space, you should definitely take some time to look at the application that just came out for the Casey Animal Health Corridor Summit. They're now accepting applications from early stage startups to present in the 20th Annual Animal Health Summit, which happens this summer in Kansas City. The summit is one of those opportunities for early stage companies in animal health, nutrition, diagnostic, technology. It's incredible. People get to get up on stage, give these spectacular presentations to a room of people that have the money to invest in them, which I think is always important. And it allows a really, really neat opportunity. I went to the Casey Animal Health Corridor Summit for the first time last year and really enjoyed it. I will for sure 100% be there again this year. I found it to be a really interesting room of people that are looking just outside of veterinary care, but a lot more, as it says, animal health. And it seemed pretty neat. So the selection committee will look at different companies. Their companies need to be seeking between $500,000 to $20 million in funding, or want to have strategic partnerships to advance their business. And they also need to be looking at revenue projections of around $20 million within the next 5 to 7 years. So I'm going to link the description or the application in the show notes as well. And I'd encourage people to really look at it. I do think that it's an incredible opportunity. The winner last year did a spectacular job. It was a doctor out of Texas here who was doing some really interesting things around in vitro work on cattle. So very cool, very interesting stuff, and always something worth checking out. And for more on these and other stories, you can join us by subscribing to our Substack, and there's always a link in the bio. And don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For the Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. See you next week.